Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's reading of MASH, A Night at Rosie's, written by Ken Levine and David Isaacs. We are so grateful to them for allowing us to perform this script. Oh, hi. For this fundraiser for Little Fish Theater. And especially excited to have Ken Levine join us after the show for a Q&A with the cast. I want you to type out your questions into the YouTube feed that should be to the right of your screen throughout the reading. And Ken will join us here after the show for a dialogue with Holly and the rest of the cast. I also want to encourage you to visit our Little Fish Theater page for our virtual stage, and you'll find out what other recorded content and upcoming live streaming events we have. These are all created by the Little Fish Theater Company artists. The URL is in the YouTube description at the bottom, and then we'll also have that in the chat feed. And lastly, if you are able to, I would love for you to support the artists that we have during this pandemic. The donate what you can URL will be put into the chat feed. It's also in the YouTube description. And the artists that are working on all this content are only supported through that money. And today your donations will extend beyond Little Fish Theater because all of the actors have offered to donate their stipends to arts organizations and humanitarian causes to help end racism. Also, Little Fish Theater is going to make a separate donation equal to 50% of whatever we take in today, the net proceeds, to a fellow arts organization that focuses on theater arts programming for marginalized youth throughout LA County. And the organization that we've chosen is the Unusual Suspects Company, which is a great organization. You can find out about them at theunusualsuspects.org. And without further ado, we would like to bring you MASH, A Night at Rosie's. A Night at Rosie's, Act 1, Fade in. Interior Rosie's bar, morning. Rosie is circulating the room, cleaning up from the night before. She lifts a glass from a table and discovers a large cigar in it. She removes it, examines it for a beat, then sticks it in her pocket. Hawkeye enters, heads for the counter, then slams his fists down in disgust.
I hate the Army. Usually, I just can't stand it, but this is different. This is hate. 2 days in surgery. I remove enough shrapnel to build a DeSoto. Evac, a whole post-op full of patients, then I go to the mess tent for my first decent meal. You know what they have for breakfast?
I'm closed.
Spam omelets and dried fruit cocktails. Now, how can I eat that and look my mouth in the face?
Sorry, my pots and pans are asleep.
Rosie, one quick, nourishing breakfast, please.
Okay, I've got some grease left over from last night. What do you have?
A beer and a bowl.
What?
Hawkeye takes out a little package of dry cereal as Rosie serves the beer and bowl.
Oh, yes. The breakfast of ex-champions. Oh, listen. Snap, crackle, and burp.
Sergeant Jack Scully enters and crosses to the opposite end of the counter. Scully's in full combat regalia, toting an M1 rifle. Picture a Bill Malden drawing. He's a real cool cookie.
Whatever you got in a shot glass.
Might as well open.
She hands him a shot of whiskey.
Anything to smoke?
She takes the cigar out of her pocket and hands it to him.
Special today. 2 bits.
No. My treat.
Hawkeye flips Rosie a quarter.
Thanks. Wait, it's got teeth marks in it.
It's a demonstrator model.
Hi, Captain Hawkeye Pierce, and I forget your name.
Scully. Jack Scully.
Listen, I don't mean to pry, but are the Chinese right outside the door or something?
No, I came off the line about 5 miles back. Hell of a battle. When it was over, I decided to go away for a little rest. Been walking and thumbing since sunrise.
You're AWOL.
Yeah, for 3 hours.
AWOL? Wait, did I hear AWOL? Oh, sorry, Betty. But out you go. I don't want no MPs busting in on me. I run a family bar.
Rosie, I'll vouch for him. Anyone who walks away from a fight can't be all bad.
1 MP, and it's your butt.
She moves away.
I've been out there 6 months. Every day crawling and scratching from one lousy foxhole to another. Watching buddies of mine get clobbered 2 feet away. And knowing there's no end in sight. Well, yeah, I call it time out. I'm lucky to have made it this far, and I ain't going back.
That's the spirit.
During the following, Scully empties his ammo into an adjacent wastebasket.
The war's over for me, Mac. I'm just going to sit right here, order drinks, and pay for them with whatever I got on my back. Yeah, I should last out a good 10 years. Refill.
She pours him another shot. He slaps his bayonet on the counter.
There, keep the change.
Hawkeye pushes the bayonet aside.
Put that back in your wallet. Here's my contribution to the anti-war effort.
You're spoiling me.
Scully lifts his glass. BJ enters.
Ah, Hawk, there you are. I don't know why, but there you are.
Beej, this is Sergeant Scully and vice versa.
Hey, those are real soldier clothes. Potter's looking for you. There's some paperwork you didn't finish, like the last 6 months.
Tell him I'm sorry. No. Tell him I'm not coming back.
What?
Yeah, and for that matter, you can rent out my room. Scully and I are staying here forever.
You divorcing the Army?
Call me fickle.
I'll call you in Leavenworth.
Come on, life is a sewer sandwich. Have a shot.
Sorry, I'm on a rigid diet. No alcohol before breakfast.
Rosie will whip you up a side of waffles.
Well, okay, 1 drink.
Cut to interior Rosie's bar early that afternoon. Open on a jukebox playing an instrumental version of Some Enchanted Evening. Pull back to reveal that it's early afternoon. Several tables are occupied. At one of them is Hawkeye, BJ, and Scully. Empty beer bottles decorate their table. All three are a little tipsy and they're trying to sing to the music.
Once you have found her, never let her go. Once you have found her, never let her let it go.
You know what our problem is? Our voices are too low. This time we'll be the Andrews sisters. I'll be Patty, you be Maxine, and you be Laverne.
Oh, I'm always Laverne. Why can't you be Laverne once?
Because I've had it with making sacrifices. They sent me over to this stinking place and they won't let me go home.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know. Sure glad I'm not in your shoes.
Hey, let's not think about it. As long as we're here, there's no out there. Just us. No lousy war, no crummy army.
And the skies are not cloudy all day.
Right.
You know, Scully makes sense.
Yeah.
What he's trying to say is, and stop me if I'm wrong, what is he trying to say?
That Rosie's is an oasis, a bamboo security blanket, a neutral country all its own.
Yeah, country. Why don't we form our own country?
Yeah, why not? You see what you did, Uncle Sam? We seceded from the Union.
Wait a minute. Don't we got to give our country a name? Otherwise, how can school kids ever study about us?
A name. I got it. Canada.
What?
I think that's being used.
Okay, let's name it after its founder, Rosie. We'll call it Rosieland.
No. Rosieland is the name of a ballroom, not a country.
If you let me call it Rosieland, I'll be Laverne.
Rosieland. It's perfect.
Another round.
Everybody drinking. Anybody paying?
Yeah, a bottle on the house, Rosie. We've just declared your crummy saloon to be a new sovereign state, Rosieland.
I gotta start watering the booze.
Our motto is life, liberty, and the pursuit of the happy hour.
And we're staying here forever.
Just don't make a mess.
Klinger enters, wearing a dress. He crosses to Hawkeye and BJ.
Oh, there you are. Colonel Potter's got an All Points bulletin out on you two.
We're not here.
Oh, I get it. Laying low. Well, don't worry, my lips are stapled. Back in Toledo, we got a saying. Spill the news. You wear cement shoes.
What a nice way of putting it.
Klinger spots Rosie and crosses to her.
Rosie, I understand that Wang Ho is bringing Korea's finest floating crap game right here tonight.
I don't know a thing.
Hey, I got to get in on that game. I even wore my professional knee pads.
Klinger pulls up his dress to reveal the same.
I still don't know a thing.
All right, here you go.
He places some money in her hand.
Another 5.
How did you know?
Just follow me.
They cross into the back room. Cut to interior back room day. It's a seedy little room with 2 tables. Klinger and Rosie enter. Rosie starts to clear the tables.
Oh, great place you got here. Banquet facilities and everything.
Now, when Wang Ho shows up, tell him you got a reservation. Good luck and bring back the bacon.
Luck has nothing to do with it. It's skill. In Toledo, I was such a hot shooter, a couple of big league scouts even approached me. The mob is always on the lookout for fresh talent.
Uh-huh. Well, when you're tapped, silly, let me know. We got a big waiting list for your spot. Hey, what's this?
Klinger helps her move the table to reveal Major Frank Dorsett, a middle-aged officer in his Class A's lying in the fetal position in a drunken stupor.
That's what happened to that deadbeat. I thought he skipped out without paying. Oh.
He's a sponge.
Hmm.
Are you okay, Rami? Major?
Dorsett just stares at him with a big grin and glassy eyes.
$30, liquor, and 2 days' rent. Cough it up.
Don't tempt him.
Cut to interior Rosie's bar an hour later. Things are picking up a bit. A few more tables are occupied, a few more customers circulating, including Scully. Hawkeye moves through the crowd and BJ is greeting new arrivals. A Marine enters.
Welcome to Rosie Land. With every drink, you get an honorary citizenship and a commemorative pretzel.
He starts to pass.
Wait. A little respect for our flag.
BJ raises his drink in a salute and points their attention to a corner of the room. Hanging in the corner is a pair of boxer shorts on a pole. A little electric fan is blowing on it, thus giving the flag the proper rippling effect. Back to BJ.
Makes you want to cry, doesn't it?
The Marine eyes him as a weirdo. He moves off screen. The camera stops on Hawkeye and a nurse.
Has anyone explained to you the philosophy of Rosie Land?
No, but somebody wants to use my underwear for a flag.
That must have been our Secretary of the Interior. We have an intimate little country here where man's only obligation is to love his fellow woman. So how about being a patriot?
She moves off.
Turncoat!
Another angle. A stern Hot Lips enters, looks around at the festivities. She approaches a table where a nurse is sitting having a drink.
What is going on here?
Oh, Major. We just came over for a little drink. We are not on duty. Everybody is here and...
That's what I mean. Why wasn't I invited?
Oh, you? We didn't think you'd be interested.
Well, that's going to cost you a drink.
Well, sit down.
Scully walks over to the table.
Excuse me, I'd like to go over your head. Major, would you care to dance?
Thank you, but I'm having a drink with my nurse.
What if I told you you're the prettiest thing I've seen in 6 months?
Let's hit the floor, and please call me Margaret.
Radar enters and spots BJ.
Oh, sir, thank goodness you're here, or I wouldn't have found you here. Colonel Potter's real mad, and...
Radar, you can tell Potter we're not coming back.
What? Are you crazy? Me tell him that? He bit right through a pencil this morning, and he wasn't even wearing his partial. If you're not going to face the colonel, Captain, neither am I.
Well, then neither am I. How about a grape knee-high?
Yeah, I could use one. Who's that?
For the first time in this scene, we see Major Dorsett. He's propped up against the wall in the same glazed expression. His right hand is taped to his garrison cap in the saluting position.
Klinger found him about an hour ago. If no one claims him by tomorrow, he gets to keep him.
Radar salutes to be safe.
Doesn't he have any ID?
Just his dog tags. Mr. Major Frank Dorsett, the unknowing soldier.
Maybe I should check him with 6th Army HQ.
See if they have a missing drunk.
First, I'll have that knee-high. Maybe a double.
As they move to the counter, 2 men enter, Cho and Ham. Cho is carrying a blanket. The camera follows as they quickly head for the back room. Cut to interior back room day. Klinger and several soldiers are waiting for them as the men enter.
Gentlemen, the Wang Ho crap game is here for your enjoyment.
Cho begins to set the blanket down on the floor.
Oh, wait a minute. Neither of you are Wang Ho. How could this be his game?
He sold it to us, but we get to keep his name. Good for business. I'm Cho, and this is Ham. Ever see 2 more honest faces?
Plenty of times.
Funny clothes you wear to shoot dice. Where are you going to put your winnings?
I got a garter belt and 2 B cups.
You shoot. Ladies first.
Okay. Down for 10. Cover me.
The money's covered. Klinger is handed the dice.
It's like handing Liberace a piano. Here we go. Talk to me, Freckle Twins. Ha!
He rolls a 4.
Point is 4.
I invented the number. Ha!
He throws the dice, a 7.
Craps. Mr. 7 is a loser.
He collects Klinger's money. Klinger examines his fingertips.
Oh, come on. Guys, my whole future's in your hands.
Cut to interior Rosie's bar. Activity as before. Mulcahy enters and looks around. Rosie approaches.
Another first timer. Can I get you a table, babyface?
No, thank you. I won't be staying long. I'm just here on a mission, as it were.
Well, have fun. Looks like you could use it.
Rosie moves on. Mulcahy spots BJ and approaches.
BJ, I hate to interrupt you in mid-debauch, but I'd like a word with you.
Father, you're not going to tell me that Potter's still looking for us, are you?
Pardon my French, but when the colonel notices his diminished ranks, there's going to be hell to pay.
You need a drink.
This isn't one of my sermons. I expect you to listen.
Father, we're hiding from the world, not Potter, and every extra minute away is pure gold. Come on, don't tarnish it.
Well, I never could play the heavy.
A furious Charles enters wearing the OD, Officer of the Day armband. He's met by Rosie.
Oh, finally, a customer with money.
I'm looking for an indolent worm.
You won't find one in my kitchen.
A determined Charles moves on. He bumps into a nurse.
Out of my way, honey. Pierce! Pierce!
He approaches Hawkeye, who is dancing by himself.
Sorry, you can't cut in, Charles.
You were to relieve me as officer of the day 2 hours ago. Now I demand a full apology, even though I'll never accept it.
You can blow it out your Bosco, Winchester, because I'm not apologizing and I'm not taking OD duty.
A small crowd begins to gather, including Scully.
If I say apologize, you... What do you mean you're not taking officer of the day?
Just what I said.
Don't give me your long-winded excuses, Pierce. You can't toy with me. Now either you put on this badge immediately or I'll have you court-martialed. So fast your vacuum-like head will spin.
Silence! Another word and you'll be placed under citizen's arrest.
I'm going to count to 1.
That was the word.
Hawkeye grabs Charles and starts dragging him off.
Oh, Pierce, what are you doing? You're touching me.
Hey, Hawkeye, you're going to get yourself in real trouble.
Look who's talking.
Put me down or you'll never see your family again. Please?
Hawkeye and the captive Charles disappear into the crowd as we fade out. End of Act 1. Act 2, fade in. Interior back room, night. Over in a corner, a group crowds tightly around the crap game. It's pretty noisy. A worn-out Klinger is rolling.
Okay, something right's got to happen here. Hey, stand back. You're in my luck.
Mulcahy enters, joins the crowd.
Hello, everyone.
Cho and Ham say, this guy's a priest. I don't trust him. Let's close it down.
Don't worry, Cho. He's one of us. Have a kneel, Father, while I try to thaw these dice.
Roll the bones, Klinger.
Klinger shakes the dice.
Come on. Now I need a 6. Baby needs a new girdle. 6. Ah!
Klinger rolls them.
Close. 7.
7 again. You're a natural, Klinger. Collect the losers, pay the winners.
Cho hands money to Ham.
I don't understand it. I always had the touch. I could roll an 11 in an earthquake. Father, I've got to change my luck. Please, he won't fail you.
Oh, Klinger, I don't like to call on him for this.
I'll come to church, I promise.
In that case, hand him over.
Klinger takes dice from Ham, hands them to Mulcahy.
A new shooter, a holy roller.
Bets down, guys.
Come on, baby. The Cardinal needs a new pair of red shoes. None of you are seeing this. Huh?
Mulcahy throws the dice.
2 craps. You lose.
You must not live right, Father.
Klinger, maybe we should quit.
Quit? A Klinger never quits. Surrender or desert, yes, but quit? Never. Besides, I got all my Saturday night jewelry.
Oh.
Cut to interior Rosie's bar, night. Things are still swinging. Major Dorsett is slumped over a table, sleeping it off. Radar is shaking him.
Major? Major? You gotta get up. I know you're enjoying yourself, sir, but this is important.
Radar looks around to see if anyone is looking. Then he slaps Major Dorsett across the face. Nothing. Radar is frightened by his own violence.
Begging your pardon, sir, but you're disgusting.
Radar sits next to Major Dorsett. BJ comes dancing by with a nurse.
Oh, couldn't you find a livelier companion, Radar?
This is a real problem. I had HQ check every unit in Korea and Japan to see where Major Dorsett belongs.
Who'd want him in the first place?
He's not listed anywhere. They got no record of him whatsoever. According to them, the guy doesn't even exist.
Well, the Army's always right.
BJ and his nurse dance away.
Boy, you're lucky you got me.
Hot Lips and Scully are dancing together.
You're not a bad dancer.
I get a lot of practice out in the field. Dodging bullets does wonders for your cha-cha.
You know, it's refreshing to meet a man like you.
Oh, really?
Yes, the only ones I seem to meet are general officers, real softies who hang their potbellies over a dinner table while spouting, "War is hell."
Where do I get a job like that?
Dancing closer.
You have a strength about you. And it's not just the broad shoulders. It's some force that seems almost overpowering.
Ah, you're crushing my hand.
Oh, sorry.
They begin to dance again.
How long have you got till you rejoin your unit?
Margaret, I kind of like you, except for one thing. You talk a little too much.
Well, it's only because I'm interested in you.
Scully puts his finger over her mouth. Hot Lips smiles. They dance close to each other.
You'll never make general officer.
Cut to Potter enters the bar and looks around at the festivities. Rosie approaches him.
Colonel Potter. Oh, what an honor. Let me clear out a few of these bums and get you a table.
That's okay, Rosie. I just stepped in to see where my camp went.
Potter moves through the crowd until he reaches Hawkeye, who's dancing.
Here's.
Hawkeye sees Potter and dances away. Potter follows.
What's going on here? I've been losing people all day.
Very simple, Colonel. We've quit the war.
When you quit, you're supposed to give notice.
BJ dances by with his nurse.
Oh, Colonel, I found Hawkeye. He's over at Rosie's.
You two are deep in my doghouse. And where's that officer of the day?
Over here. He's fit to be tied.
Hawkeye and BJ lead Potter through the crowd to a corner near the bar. There sits Charles, bound in a chair and gagged with his officer of the day armband. He squirms and tries to talk.
Roping him was easy, but it took 6 of us to get the gag around his mouth.
Where do you want him branded?
Why can't you three learn to play together? Okay. Winchester.
Potter pulls the gag off of Charles's mouth.
I was raised in a gracious and civilized atmosphere. I was taught the golden rule and, with the exception of some business deals, learned to live by it. However, in this case, I want these vermin hung. I want them buried in anthills, their bodies smeared with honey.
Easy, Major. You two could be in trouble.
I want them drawn and quartered, and then I want their pieces arrested.
Shush, Winchester. He's got a case.
I've never been so humiliated in my life. Between dances, they come over and sit on me.
Will you pipe down?
Colonel, I insist that you bring charges against...
Potter puts the gag back over his mouth.
I'll take care of everything. Winchester, just relax. You follow me.
Potter leads Hawkeye and BJ out the door. Cut to exterior Rosie's bar night. Potter, Hawkeye, and BJ exit the bar.
You can't spank us, Colonel. Rosie doesn't have a woodshed.
You know, as commander, I let you two get away with a lot around here, even hog-tying a surgeon. But if I let you walk out on me and take the whole camp with you, there's nothing to command. I'm afraid I'm going to have to shut this wing-ding down.
Look, Colonel, do what you want with us, but there are a lot of people inside who haven't had a night like this in a long time.
I know. I know this kind of thing is needed, but I need something too. Respect. It's supposed to come with the job. And besides, I've earned it.
Colonel, there were a lot of things we wanted to show our disrespect for. Unfortunately, you got caught in the rush.
To put it another way, we're sorry.
You think that helps, don't you? Okay. Cut Winchester loose. I'll tell him you were out of your heads. He'll believe that.
Appreciate it.
We'll remember this.
I doubt if you'll remember anything tomorrow.
Potter walks away. Cut to interior back room night. The crap game is still in progress. Klinger is rolling. Mulcahy stands beside him.
Come on, 5. Let's go, Mickey Finn.
Klinger throws.
A 5. Made it.
Hey, the lucky lady.
Finally.
Congratulations, my son.
Let it ride.
Klinger, what's gotten into you? You made back a few dollars. Be happy with that.
Last time, white collar, leave the players alone.
You keep threatening me, young man, to be wearing those dice in your nose.
He realizes what he said and crosses himself. Squats next to Klinger.
Klinger, I don't trust these two. I haven't been able to catch them, but I know they're pulling something.
They're clean, Father. I thought they might be exchanging dice with the money, but I haven't seen nothing. Look, my touch is coming back. They can't beat me now.
Klinger rolls again.
9.
9 to make.
Klinger shakes the dice.
It's in the bag, fellas. 9.
Klinger rolls.
9.
Klinger lets out a whoop.
Woo! Pay the winner.
2 in a row. Huh, I've never seen such luck.
Mulcahy gets closer to Cho. Close up, Mulcahy's POV. Cho pays money out to Ham.
You're short 5, old timer.
What? Oh, sorry. For good pit boss, I'm sure lousy with numbers.
Cho reaches into his pocket, pulls out a bill, and hands it to Ham along with a pair of loaded dice. He takes the other pair and slips them into his pocket. Back to scene. Mulcahy gets in close to Klinger.
Klinger, I'd like to talk to you.
Father, not now. I'm on a roll.
Especially now.
Mulcahy tries to pull Klinger away.
Father!
There's something you should know.
Cut to interior Rosie's bar, night. Major Dorsett is still passed out at his table. Radar and Rosie approach him. Rosie is carrying a steaming coffee pot.
Rosie, he's been like this for hours.
Don't worry, Radar. Even if he's dead, my coffee will bring him back.
What's in it?
Just coffee, an egg, and a little gunpowder.
Rosie, that's dangerous.
Yeah. So you hold his nose. I'll pour it down. He'll gag a lot, but he won't mind.
This is for your own good, sir. Oh, I can't look.
As Radar turns his head away, a rather menacing-looking MP enters the bar. Rosie spots him.
Oh, no, I told Hawkeye there'd be trouble.
They're probably looking for Major Dorsett. Holy cow, they'll see this and they'll think I'm supposed to know, but I don't know, and then I'll get blamed. Sorry, sir, but you're on your own.
Radar drops Dorsett's head. He slumps back on the table. Radar nonchalantly heads for the door and tries to go around the MP.
Excuse me, fella.
Where do you think you're going, Corporal?
Me? I'm just going back to camp. I just came by to have a couple of bottles of booze, west by Whittle. Wet my whistle.
Yeah, and what else?
Look, I don't know him. I wasn't even the one that found him. All I did was try to wake the major up, but he didn't want to be up.
MP takes out a pad and pencil and hands it to Radar.
Sit down over there and write everything out. I'll start checking through the crowd.
Radar sits at a table. The MP sifts through the bar, checking for Scully. Angle on Hot Lips and Scully dancing.
What are they looking for?
Oh, probably me.
What? Why?
I'm AWOL. I walked off the line this morning.
You deserted? You?
I hope that doesn't make a difference.
The MP comes by Hawkeye and his partner dancing.
Excuse me, what are you guys doing?
Looking for an AWOL.
I'm your man. I'm the AWOL. It's all a misunderstanding. I don't own a watch.
You don't fit the description.
Of course not. I'm in disguise. I know the face looks like I just threw it on, but it's the best I could do.
A joker.
He moves
Hey,
on.
hey, you're making a big mistake. I'm wanted in 3 other wars.
The MP comes up to Hot Lips and Scully dancing. He looks them over.
Can I see some ID, Sarge?
Scully and Hot Lips look at each other, then.
Sorry, I don't have any. It just gets me in trouble.
Maybe you better come with me.
Scully nods. He and the MP begin to walk out when a commotion is heard from the back. Suddenly, Cho comes out running. Klinger follows. He's got Ham in a headlock.
I'll kill you guys. Nobody cheats me and gets away with it.
Klinger throws Ham across the room. Ham bumps into the Marine, who spills his beer.
Nice move, buddy.
Fight! Fight!
The battle is on. Everyone is swinging. People run out from the back room and join in. Mulcahy follows.
Oh, my lord! Stop! Stop this, please! You're all setting a bad example!
The MP tries to break up the fighting, but as soon as he pulls one person away, another dives in. Angle on the bar. Nurses are standing, watching, and trying to avoid flying debris. Slowly, Hawkeye and BJ appear from behind the bar.
Somebody should stop this.
Well, what are you girls waiting for? Get out there.
Incoming!
A chair comes flying in their direction. Everyone ducks. Back to scene. It's a mess. Rosie is helping the MP pull people off. Angle on radar. He's on all fours, crawling toward the door. He finally makes it, stands up, and exits. A piece of flying wood follows him out. He re-enters with the wood.
All right, which one of you threw this?
Another piece flies towards him. He ducks out. The Marine is choking the MP. Scully comes over and pulls him off.
Thanks.
The Marine grabs the MP again and starts choking him. Hot Lips makes her way to Scully and pulls him away from the fight.
You've got to get out of here. As soon as they clear up this fight, they'll take you in.
Margaret, you're on my side.
I just don't want you to get into trouble. Look, go back to your unit. Tell them you got lost during the battle.
That's not the point. I'm sick of the war.
Who isn't? Jerry, we don't have time to argue. For heaven's sake, don't be a fool. Go, please.
Yeah, okay. But don't be surprised if I show up on your doorstep again. I've grown a little fond of this place.
Anytime.
He kisses her and runs off screen. Hot Lips watches him go until the Marine comes up to her.
How about a kiss from me, baby?
Hot Lips socks him right in the jaw. Angle on Klinger, going through Cho's pockets.
Where is it? Where's my money?
Finally pulls out a wad of bills, counting.
Ha! Ah, here it is. Oh. Okay, guys. Where's the dice? I'm raring to play. Boy, what a night.
Klinger is pulled back into the fight and the ruckus continues as we fade out. End of Act 2. Fade in. Interior Rosie's bar, next morning. The place is a shambles. Chairs and tables are overturned. Rosie and 2 of her helpers slowly clear away the damage. A tired Hawkeye and BJ sit at the only upright table. The national flag sits beside them.
What time is it?
About half past the 20th century.
Oh, we'd better get back and get some rest. I've got duty in post-op this afternoon.
Yeah, we'll probably be getting casualties later. It's been too quiet around here.
Hawkeye and BJ slowly get up to move out.
Night, Rosie. Thanks for a great time.
Get lost already.
Hawkeye and BJ cross the room.
Hey, could somebody call me a cab?
Who was that?
Out from behind the debris crawls Major Dorsett.
I gotta grab a cab. I've got a meeting in Pearl Harbor in half an hour.
He's alive.
They help him up.
Well, this isn't the Halekulani. Where am I?
Where do you think you are?
Well, Honolulu. I'm stationed over at Schofield.
I don't think you're going to make your meeting.
You're in Korea.
Korea? Wow. They really took me seriously.
What?
I was sitting with some friends toasting July 4th and saying how I'd like to join the fun in Korea. They must have stuck me on a transport.
Why would anyone need to get drunk in Hawaii?
Well, as long as you're here, we'll show you some of the fun. That'll really give you something to drink about.
They helped Dorsett to the door.
By the way, it's not July 4th. It's about August 10th.
What do you know? I've been plastered for 5 weeks. That's a new record.
In Honolulu, maybe, but not here.
They exit Rosie's bar as we fade out. The end. Help me welcome the Little Fish Theater cast members and writer Ken Levine.
You know, I've been plastered for 5 weeks. That's a new record.
In Honolulu, maybe.
Okay, do we have everybody here? Hey.
Yeah, looks like it.
All right, awesome. So Ken Levine is here. You should be able to see him. Wave. Can you wave, Ken, to everyone? Yeah, hey. We're so excited that you let us do this script. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys did a great job. Thank you all very much.
Yeah.
I love passing the beer and the money and everything. That's choreography with Zoom.
Yeah, that was some Zoom magic that I wanted to incorporate into this show. Just because we can do it and it calls for it, and even the fights, it was just so much fun to see people do it and come up with their own ideas to do it, like Ham getting choked off screen. So.
So we have a few questions that have come through so far. Anyone in the audience, if you have some more questions, please type those into the chat feed, and we have someone sending those to us. The first question that I have is, what was Ken's favorite episode?
My favorite, well, there's two. There's the episode that my partner David and I wrote, which would be Point of View, which was the episode that was all seen through the eyes of a patient. And my all-time favorite episode is called The Interview, which is the one where Cleet Roberts was a reporter, was in black and white, and it was as if there was a documentary about the MASH unit, and that was pretty extraordinary. But those would be my two favorites.
How many episodes of MASH did you write?
We wrote 19 episodes, and we were the head writers for a couple of years. So we did a lot of rewriting, and so our thumbprints are probably on about 60 episodes.
Oh, that's awesome. This question is for Holly and the cast. What was the most challenging thing about virtually coordinating with so many actors?
Seriously, with this group, it was just finding the time to rehearse, because there was no challenge in doing any of the choreography, the Zoom magic that we just talked about, or in the lines or anything like that. We have such a talented group of artists here at Little Fish. It was literally just getting people together. After that, it was easy and magic and fun.
Does anyone from the cast want to say anything about your challenge? Was this the first one for anyone to do a virtual event like this? Any of the cast?
This was my first, and it was extraordinarily fun. The challenge, of course, is that you're not in a room with somebody, and that kind of connecting in a different way was a challenge, but it happened pretty quickly. But I'd say that was my biggest challenge.
Yeah, tough on the sex scenes.
Yeah.
I think I think the listening is where you end up doing the acting, because you're trying to give the audience the impression that basically the conceit that we've had is that when you're talking to a character, you're going to look in the lens, and then you can place people around the room, or if you can have a thought, you can look off. But when you're doing that, and you also have, I always keep my PDF right under the lens. You can only act with or listen with your ears. You're not really looking at the other actor. So that's tough.
For me, the big challenge was how I would do the scene without someone ringing my bell, without my dog barking, without having any distractions. And everything that happened, I was glad that never was on my scene. It was always after or before. But struggling with that, it can be very challenged, and you have to work in your improvisation skills. To fix a light, to fix the internet, to fix something around that. So I think it was a very different challenge. It happened on stage too, but not as often here because other people living here with you and they just think this is a meeting sometimes or vice versa. So I think was fun, the challenge to make it happen.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very live, these Zoom things, very live, even more than on stage, because you have real life happening as well as you're acting. Okay, so here, I have another question. Would like to ask Ken about the experience of writing such well-known established characters. Was he already a fan of the show before he wrote his episodes?
Very much so. You know, I loved MASH. It was really one of my favorite shows. And when David and I got the opportunity to come in and pitch stories for MASH, we came up with 50 different story ideas because there was no way that we were going to walk out of that office without getting an assignment, because for us, this was like the holy grail to get a MASH assignment. So yeah, we were absolutely thrilled. You know, an interesting story behind the making of this particular episode. Usually they would have a series order of 22 episodes a season. And what they would do nearing the end of the season, CBS would add another 2 shows. So that would bring it to 24. And we were kind of used to that, and we mentally prepared to do 24 episodes a season. And then in season 6, really at the last minute, they asked for an episode 25. And we really had to scramble and put together that episode. So now we jump ahead to season 7, and it's the same thing. We get 22, they add another 2. And we said to them at that point, look, if you're going to give us the 25th show, that's fine, but give it to us now. Let us know. We can prepare. We don't have to scramble the way we did. And they said, no, absolutely. It will only be 24 this year. Don't worry about it. So we did our 24 episodes, and we were almost about to finish the last one when we got the call from CBS saying, yeah, we want an extra episode. And that's what this was. And so David and I wrote this over the weekend. We really just plowed through this thing in 2 days and turned it in on Monday, and it started filming on Tuesday, I believe. This was like around January. It's like we had to come back after Christmas and do these last couple of episodes. And we always wanted to do shows that were a little bit out of the norm, because we felt so constricted by the camp and the time. You know, in other shows, they could change apartments, they could get married and have kids, that sort of thing. And we were like locked in. I mean, the Korean War lasted about 2 years and the show lasted 11. So we were looking for ways of just kind of changing the format a little. And so we kind of had this idea about doing a whole show in Rosie's bar and make it more like a one-act play and not see the camp at all. So we thought that was you know, kind of interesting. The show is primarily green, and this episode, everything was primarily red. And so that's kind of the backstory behind doing this episode.
Yeah, it's really cool to have a whole episode that just takes place in one location. And
Yeah,
you don't see that.
It was really fun. Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
really fun to do.
Question for you, Ken. I think it's like since the 90s, sitcoms have been generally 22 minutes as far as the content.
Right.
What were they back then in MASH days?
Back then, I think the entire show was something like 25 minutes, something like that, or 24. Yeah, it may have been like 24. Commercial breaks were only like a minute, minute and a half, and there were only like 3 of them. And then there was like a network break. And when you put the credits, the opening credits and the front credits, we had something like 22 minutes and 50 seconds to do the shows. And I don't know, you could not do MASH today, considering how much the time has shrunk, because we would do 2, sometimes 3 stories that would all dovetail within the same episode. And you just couldn't do that. And you see that when the show went into syndication originally and they had to cut things out. I mean, I watch episodes and they'll cut out things and suddenly the show doesn't make sense, because they'll cut out a scene that explained what was happening. It's like all of a sudden Hawkeye and BJ are now on a bus going somewhere, and you're going, what's that all about? So yeah, we were blessed to be doing television at a time when we could really tell stories, and also at a time when 30 million people a week watched it. That was pretty cool. You don't get that anymore.
Right. Well, besides the drop in audience on streaming, would you like to put a MASH in a streaming context with no commercials, as far as being a writer?
To do a show MASH with no commercials?
Yeah.
I would love to have been able to do MASH with no commercials. I would have loved to have been able to do MASH with no laugh track. That was a fight that we had with CBS for 11 years. And the only concession was during operating room scenes, because we said, who are these people laughing? The blood spurting out everywhere. Who are these people laughing? So they graciously let us have that. And then on special episodes like Point of View, we also got them to drop the laugh track.
That takes me to one of the other questions. Did you ever have censors cut your script?
We never had any we never had any censors say you can't do this scene, you can't do this show. We played a game with them where every script we turned in, they would say, cut the casual profanity in half. So if we wanted 8 hells and damns, we put in 16 so that we could just cut the ones that they, that were unacceptable to them.
Sure.
One time I remember we tried to slip this in where Radar was showing a visiting general to the VIP tent. And so we had a line for Radar. It said, right this way, your VIP NESS, your VIP-ness. And they flagged it, that they got. On the other hand, I mean, you look at shows on CBS now, and it's like every other word is penis. 2 Broke Girls, they would have burned down the set if we tried to do half of what they did on that show.
Yeah. Okay, here's another question. You're so terrific at comedy. Have you written any dramas?
I wrote, there's a lot of drama in MASH, certainly. And I did write a dramatic screenplay that scared the hell out of my agents. So I told them, hey, I just wrote a new spec screenplay. And they went, great, we're really excited. I said, oh, by the way, it's a hard drama. And they were like crickets on the phone. And they were like, well, what'd you do that for? And I said, well, because it's subject matter that lends itself more to drama. It's kind of working out some issues that I was dealing with, and so I wrote it as a drama. And they said, "Is there anything funny in it?" And I said, "Well, yeah, there's some humor along the way. I'm, not doing Interiors by Woody Allen." And they said, "Well, can we sell this as a black comedy?" I said, "No, it's a drama. It's a drama." They didn't sell it. I left the agency. Yeah. They said, "Well, you can't really do dramas unless they're period pieces. If they're like period pieces, then you could do drama." I said, "So if I do the same movie and put everybody in wigs, then you'll sell it?" So, like I said, I'm no longer with that agency.
Okay, I have a question for the cast. What was the most fun you had doing this production? Anyone have something special that came up?
Saying the words. You don't have to say that.
Well, MASH was my parents' all-time favorite show, and we'd watch it every time it came on. And then later in years, they had the DVDs, and they would play them just on a loop. So it was like the theme song of my whole existence was just episodes of MASH. So just getting to do this, and this was one of my mom's favorite because she said it humanized Hot Lips in a way that hadn't been before, and she really loved it. And so that was really special for me. And also the most fun was just to get to see all my friends again, and a few times in rehearse, and that was for me.
Anyone else have?
I'll jump in.
Alan?
I grew up with it.
For me, it was really just getting familiar with this show that I had always heard of. Everyone has always told me how great it was, but I had never seen an episode. No disrespect to Mr. Levine, but your show was what signified when cartoons were done. So it always that always kind of was stuck in the back of my head, was that fun's over and now it's a live action show. So now I'm able to put that away and actually and really enjoy this material.
By the way, I was 7 years old when I wrote these. So just so you all know.
So talented. Child.
Yeah, I was
talented.
7.
Anyone else have something to add about that? Yes, Doug.
My parents let me stay up and watch stuff like Barney Miller and MASH, and I grew up on. I distinctly remember when it went off the air, and that one of those very dramatic episodes where Hawkeye thinks that a chicken has been smothered in the bus, and it ended up being a baby. I remember that really affected me as a kid. But this episode in particular, I have a small part. So, but as soon as I started reading it, one of the things I used to love about MASH, especially in the later seasons, was it was really bantery, really quick, and these characters, had these superhuman wits. And as soon as I read that first bit where Hawkeye says, "How could I look my mouth in the face?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm in. This is great." I turned to my wife. I said, "Oh, shit, this is really funny." And, I want to go watch the episodes.
Well, the template for all of that was Larry Gelbart, who was really the creative genius behind MASH. I mean, we just got a chance to drive the car for a couple of years, but it was Larry and Gene Reynolds who did really such a great job and established the show for the first 4 years. I also want to mention, we put this show together so quickly, and we were very blessed that our executive producer, Burt Metcalf, directed the episode and did a great job. We did not have a lot of time to choreograph the fight, and the fight on camera is really good. It's wild and chairs flying, and it was really a great fight scene. And so credit to Burt. A lot of fine directors worked on MASH, including Alan Alda, but Gene Reynolds and lot of great writers, great directors. Yeah.
So
Charlie
another,
Dubin.
sorry. So one of the questions for cast too, you just mentioned Alan Alda. So for Rich and Bill and everyone actually, so how challenging was it to try and not think of those actors as you were playing these roles?
You know what? I addressed that for myself and got beyond that in the first 30 seconds after I agreed to do this, because that is an iconic character, and I scrupulously avoided revisiting the episode just because that's a no-win situation for any performer. I'm aware of my strong recollections of all the wonderful things that Alan Alda brought to that character. But with that kind of playing in the background, I was at liberty just to sort of invest myself in the words, which is what he would do when he was handed his weekly script. So all deference and respect and apologies to Alan Alda. I am never going to be playing on that field. I just want to, read the words and respond to them the way that actors do.
And Bill, for you, because Mike Farrell was also just so, great in that character. How did you approach it?
Well, in many instances, I know some people who kind of, when they put the clothes on, they begin to feel the character. You're sort of putting yourself in the setting. Some people literally, I know some actors who literally will wear the shoes that they're going to wear that night, on stage during rehearsal, just so they can literally walk in the shoes of the character. In this case, I thought it was very easy to do something different than BJ, because right now I'm completely nude from the waist down. I'm not wearing any pants. I don't think there was ever an episode where he did that. So to me, that really changed things up quite a bit.
Perfect. Okay, so on that note, did any of the TV cast go off script and improvise, or how much did they?
No, they really didn't. If what we would do is have a table reading at the start of each episode, and if the cast then had a problem with any of the lines, they would tell us, and we would make adjustments if we felt they were necessary. And that first day, they would rehearse, and we would go to the various sets and watch a rehearsal. And again, if they were having trouble making a turn or something, or we saw a joke didn't work that well, we would adjust it, and we would do a rewrite that afternoon and evening. And after that, no, they pretty much stuck to the script. In fact, Alan tells the story, the early years, there was like a typo in a scene, and it was the Larry Gelbart script, and it's like, I don't know exactly what this means, but okay. And so they said it, and then they were watching dailies the next day, and Larry was like, "What's that? What are you saying?" And he goes, "What's in the script?" And he goes, "What's a typo?" So yeah, that's how much respect that the cast had for the script. I mean, they really were very respectful.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Here's one. Since we're discussing some diversity so much now, do you think that MASH was written, if it was written today, would there be more people of color, do you think, as regular characters?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. What was really tough was, finding Koreans. You'd like to have authentic Koreans, and there are just not that many Korean actors. And so we would use other Asian actors, and, we spent a lot of time studying the culture and tried to make sure that we were very respectful of that culture. But yeah, I guess in terms of our diversity, it was Korean. But yes, yeah, I'm sure if we would do the show today, there would be some different characters.
Right. That's pretty much all of the questions from the feed. If anyone has a last one, or if a cast, do you have some questions for Ken?
Ken, my friend Sean in Bakersfield is watching, and he's a friend of a friend of a friend, and he wanted me to tell you that Matt DeRue says hi.
Okay, great. I used to be a disc jockey in Bakersfield. Yeah, back in 1971, 72. Yeah. Lovely place.
Holly, do you have any questions that you're dying to ask?
No. I just want to, we're just so thankful to you, Ken, and to David Isaacs, your writing partner, for allowing us to read your words. A few years ago, we produced Laughter on the 23rd Floor, which has a Larry Gelbart type character. And so both Bill, who played BJ, and Rich, who played Hawkeye, were in it. And so we were familiar with that kind of pattern, but to be able to do it again in your words was really cool. And we're just, again, we're thankful for the opportunity.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Love your theater, and everybody please donate.
Thank you.
Please donate.
And as one of the
actually doing this.
Right. Yes. And one of the last chat feed notes was, "Thank you, Ken, for my favorite show on earth." So thank you. Thank you for letting us be part of that for today.
Oh, thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us. We will be doing some more live streaming. Just check out our webpage, Little Fish Theater virtual stage, and you can find out what we're doing next. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye.
All right, and we're done.